In this video, we will be looking at what exactly happens in the brain during periods of isolation, specifically in the dorsal raphe nuclei. But why is being social important to us? Well, it allowed us to overcome problems. It promoted the survival of other members. And it gave us a competitive advantage over other hominid species. But why is being social beneficial to us today? Increased sociability is related to higher grades at university, a decreased risk of heart disease, a lower risk of Alzheimer's, and an increased world perspective. But we can't be expected to be happy and social and outgoing all the time. That's unrealistic. We've all felt like the person on the right, whether that's at a party or in our own room. What's going on, though? Inside this circle is an area called the raphe nuclei, which is better known to host neurons that synthesize and release serotonin. New research, however, shows that the subset of the dorsal raphe nuclei also contains neurons that release both dopamine and glutamine. It's these group of neurons that play a critical role in increasing sociability following lonely isolation. Researchers have recently begun to manipulate the raphe nuclei with a technique called optogenetics. Optogenetics involves the use of light to control neurons that have been genetically modified to express light-sensitive ion channels. When these dopamine neurons are stimulated, they are silenced. This mimics social isolation and promotes rebound social interaction. That would mean that this guy right here would have enhanced synaptic input into the dorsal raphe nuclei dopamine neurons because he's feeling sad and isolated. When the synaptic input is increased, the DRN dopamine neurons become more active, meaning they release more dopamine and more glutamate onto downstream neurons. Let's recap what we've learned today. Social isolation enhances the synaptic input of DRN dopamine neurons. This leads to more dopamine neurons becoming more active. More activity in the dopamine neurons means that more dopamine and glutamate is released. More research is needed to understand the full downstream pathways of the dopamine and glutamate that is released. But in the end, we do know from this research that our bodies are primed for sociability after a period of isolation, thanks to the dorsal raphe nuclei. So next time you feel alone, at least know that you've always got your dorsal raphe nuclei right by your side. Well, that's it. Thanks to my professor, Dr. Zhang, my classmates, and all those #BrainyTigers out there.